Hello bookworms! Today I'm here with my January book haul. Once again, it's another big book haul. I'm going to do the best that I can to go quickly so that this isn't a super long video, but I love books, guys. The first books that I have to show you are the books that I was really excited for this year, and they came out right on January 5th, and that is Passenger by Alexandra Bracken and Truthwitch by Susan Dennard. There was actually an event at Books of Wonder in New York City, which I'm lucky is like local for me, so I was able to go and meet Susan and meet Alexandra, and also it was moderated by Erin Bowman, so I got a bunch of books there, and I'm going to show those to you now. So there is Truthwitch, and sign says for Kristen, love Susan. I also got Susan's Something Strange and Deadly trilogy signed, but I already owned those, so I'm not going to show those to you right now. Then we have Passenger by Alexandra Bracken, which is one of my favorite books of last year. Like, I am obsessed with this, and I really need the next one, like, immediately. I even love this page, too. So Alexandra wrote For Kristen, Happy Travels, Alexandra Bracken. And then, because I loved Passenger so much, I decided to buy these next three books, which are The Darkest Minds, Never Fade, and In the Afterlight, all by Alexandra Bracken. All of these are signed as well. This one says, For Kristen, Black is the Color. This one says, For Kristen, Give 'em Hell, Darlin'. This one says, For Kristen, Carpe the Hell Out of That DM. I'm assuming that each of those has to do with the books in that series, but I haven't read them yet, so I'm excited to find out their meanings once I do. Also, from the Books of Wonder event, I decided to take the plunge and upgrade one of my favorite series that I have into hardcovers, so that is Anna and the French Kiss, Lola and the Boy Next Door, and Isla and the Happily Ever After. So now I have a matching hardcover set for all of these. Originally, the first two books were released with different covers, which are horrible, and I really wanted like this one's because I just love like all the colors. I think that's so pretty, so I was really happy. Like, once I saw the hardcovers there with the newer covers, I was like, okay, sold. I'm gonna get these. Thank you, Books of Wonder. And lastly, from the Books of Wonder event, I also picked up Vengeance Road by Erin Bowman, which is a revenge story, and it's a Western, and it sounds really cool and unlike anything that I have read before. This was also signed by Erin Bowman. Ooh. I got a bookmark too, which just fell out of the book, but it says To Kristen, Chase the Horizon, and it's signed in like gold Sharpie, which is really cool because it goes with the whole feel of the book. Another book that I got this month, which also came out on January 5th, is Firsts by Lori Elizabeth Flynn. I talked about this book a little bit in my February TBR video because it's one of the ones that I'm planning on reading for the month, but again, this is just a book that sounds like really different from anything that I have read, and it's a very interesting premise. I'm not going to go into it. It just sounds interesting, guys. Next, I had mentioned in my book buying habits video that I was really trying to buy more like classic books and just like pretty versions of books that I want to have on my shelves. So I'll link that video down below, but I ended up doing that in January. I'm really focusing on like new releases and books that I already love that I want to upgrade to hardcover, and also just pretty editions of books. So one of the sets that I got that falls into that category is the Puffin in Bloom collection, which is so beautiful. It has Little Women, Anne of Green Gables, A Little Princess, and Heidi, and all of them are illustrated, or the covers are done by Anna Bond from Rifle Paper Co., and they're so pretty. I'll just show them to you really quickly because they're beautiful. So there's Heidi, A Little Princess, Anne of Green Gables, and Little Women, and a bookmark. And I just discovered that if you buy the whole box set like that, you also get this adorable little bookmark that has the Little Women cover on it. So that's exciting. And then I also picked up some more Puffin hardcover classics this month, which are super cute. I really like these, and I like the way that they look next to each other on the shelf. So I got The Wind in the Willows, A Little Princess, which I also got in the other edition because it came in that box set. But this one's so pink. How could I not? The Call of the Wilds, The Secret Garden, and the one that I was most excited about, Matilda. I really love this movie and this play, and I actually never read the book, so I'm definitely going to now that I have this copy. And then the last classic books that I got in January, which also like fit into this category, are part of the Classics Reimagined series. They're so pretty. I got Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice. I just love all of the neon colors, and like even the pages are orange and the back has that, and this is completely like fully illustrated and just like to die for. It's so gorgeous. What a book. I also got The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes by Arthur Conan Doyle. I actually already have a Barnes & Noble edition of this, which is also really pretty, but it's like brown leather, and I just like how this one has like the bright purple colors, and then it has yellow pages, and again it's illustrated on the back and it's fully illustrated inside, and I love this series. They also have an Alice in Wonderland book, which I haven't picked up yet, but I'll probably get in February, and I really hope that they just like redo more books in this vein because they're so beautiful. The next couple of books that I have to show you are all January new releases. The first one being Bookishly Ever After by Isabel Bandera. So this book is really cute. It's about a girl who's like a total bookworm, and she would just love for her book to be like a paranormal YA romance, but unfortunately it is nothing like that. And then she meets this guy who she really likes, so she starts turning to her favorite YA book heroines for like guy advice. From what I understand, they don't mention the names by like they don't like fully mention the name of the book, but you can very easily tell which book she's talking about. So I think that that's really fun because it'll have a lot of like Easter eggs for people that are avid YA readers like all of us. And so this other girl ends up stealing the guy that she loves, and then, or that she like thinks that she loves right away. And then she has to work at a camp and ends up meeting this other guy. So maybe things will change there, but I know that they say that life gets better than a book, so that's exciting. It sounds like it's going to be really cute, and I've heard good things about it. Next, I have Up to This Point by Jennifer Longo. This book is about a girl who is a ballerina, and her best friend go to Antarctica to kind of try to decide like what it is that they want to do with the rest of their lives, whether ballet is really where like what they want to be doing. So it's really about a girl like finding herself, and I think that Antarctica just sounds like a really interesting setting for a book. I've definitely never read anything set there before, so I'm really looking forward to this one. I've also heard good things about this one, and I'm very excited. Next, I have The Love That Split the World by Emily Henry. This is the Spines with Wines book of the month for February, and I will be updating you when we have a date for our live show. It is a contemporary novel, but it has sci-fi aspects to it. There's a girl that has a dream, and in her dream she's told you have 3 months to save him, but she doesn't know who this him is. And then she meets a boy, and that's probably the him, and it just sounds like it's going to be really good. And then the last January new release that I have to show you is The Siren by Kira Cass, which it's so shiny. Like as soon as I opened this package, I was like, oh, that's not what I was expecting. I was expecting a flat kind of cover, and I just like, oh, I've been trying to take photos of it to like do it justice, but I can't even because it's just so like, you have to like move it to get the full effect of shininess, and it's beautiful. But anyway, The Siren is a book that's written by Kira Cass, who wrote the Selection series. This is actually the first book that she wrote, and she self-published it, but after the popularity of The Selection, people, I guess, were more interested in this, so what she did was she rewrote it. She made a ton of edits. I heard that it's very different from the original story, and it's published now by HarperCollins, so I am definitely looking forward to this. It could be very hit or miss. Like I said, I really enjoyed The Selection. I thought it was great, but I understand that they were like not good books, but they're really enjoyable. So this could be the same kind of situation, but we'll see. Next, I have a little mini haul of books that I got from the Strand in New York City. Melissa, that you may know from the Spines with Wines book club, and Cassie as well, who's the other member, both came to visit me, and we had a really fun weekend together. But on Friday, Melissa and I went to the Strand, and obviously book buying ensued. So these are the things that I ended up picking up that day. I got Sabriel by Garth Nix, which is the first book in the Aborson trilogy, or now it's a quartet, I believe, because Clariel came out. So I actually never read this, and I know a lot of people loved it when they were younger, so I'm interested in checking it out. And there are a lot of fantasy writers that I like that say that they that Garth Nix is one of the people, and like this trilogy is one of the things that really got them interested in writing fantasy. So that's a pretty good endorsement. The next book that I picked up is Shadowfell by Juliette Marillier. This is an author that I'm really interested in reading this year. This book sounds really good. It's about a girl who's trying to avenge her family and get to Shadowfell. I don't know too much else about it because I kind of want to go into it blind. I've just heard such good things about her books that I just want to get them and just read them without like knowing. I just want that surprise. So this is probably one that I'm going to be reading very soon. And the next book that I got is Graceling by Kristen Kishore. I already have a paperback version of this, but I wanted to upgrade to a hardcover because it's one of those books that I know that I'm going to love, and the Strand always has really good deals on hardcovers and sometimes paperback, but I ended up getting this one for like $8, and I was like, well, I can't really pass that up, so here it is. And then the last book that I got from the Strand is one that I also upgraded to hardcover and for $6, and it's Mr. Penumbra's 24-Hour Bookstore. I really loved this book when I read it. I think I read it back in 2012 or 2013. I can't remember, but it was one of those years, and I just like loved it so much. So I've never seen a hardcover copy of it, and I wasn't able to find one on Amazon, but they had it at the Strand for $6, and apparently it's out of print in hardcover, so I was like, well, that's fate. So I picked it up, and then the other night I went into my room to get something and realized that it glows in the dark, which is even cooler, so that was a fun surprise. The next two books that I have are Pivot Point by Casey West and The Conclusion, which is Split Second by Casey West. I read Pivot Point in January and I loved it. I like raved about it in my January wrap up, and I wrote full reviews for it on my blog too, so I'll link both of those down below. But I just love this book so much, so it was no question that I needed a hardcover and that I needed the sequel as soon as possible. It's kind of like Sliding Doors, and there's a girl that can see into the future, and it's just everything. So if you haven't read Pivot Point, do it. Then the next set of books that I have are all from Book Outlet, so they were all not so expensive, which is really exciting. The first book that I got is For Darkness Shows the Stars by Diana Peterfrund, and this is a persuasion retelling, and I believe it takes place in space, which sounds pretty cool, and the cover is really pretty. Then I have Reawakened by Colleen Hawke. Don't know how to say her last name, but this book is actually a lot prettier than I was expecting too. It's shiny, and I thought that this one was going to be flat too, but especially the eye. The eye is really cool looking. But it's about a girl who goes, or a boy. Is it a boy or a girl? She. Okay. So it's about a girl who goes into the Met in New York City, and there is a mummy that comes to life, and then I don't know what's going to happen, but it sounds really intriguing, and I believe that this is going to be a trilogy, and the second book cover was just released recently, so I figured this is a good time to read this one, decide if I want to read the next one too. Then I have The Shadowhunters Codex by Cassandra Clare and Joshua Lewis. This is one book that I just picked up on Book Outlet because it was inexpensive, and I probably would not have picked this up at full price since I have mixed feelings about the Shadowhunters series, but I really just did love Infernal Devices, and they referenced the Shadowhunters Codex in that, so now I'm more interested in reading this one. Next I have Me Before You by Jojo Moyes. Every book blogger that I know has just like raved about this book, and it's being made into a movie this year, and I know that it's supposed to be really sad, so I wanted to read it before that comes out because I just really like reading books before I see movies. Next I got Kushiel's Dart by Jacqueline Carey. This is the first book in the, I guess it's called the Kushiel series, but there's a lot of them. One of my friends, this is like one of her favorite series, so she's been telling me to read it for a while, and they had it on Book Outlet, so I picked it up. And it's also a book that's going to be read for the Flights of Fantasy book club, so I'm definitely looking forward to reading it during that month. I can't remember which one it is, but it's like later on in the year. Next I have Beauty by Robin McKinley. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and it was very inexpensive on Book Outlet. And I just really love Beauty and the Beast. I love fairy tale retellings, so I definitely want to read this one. I read one of Robin McKinley's other Beauty and the Beast retellings called Sunshine, and I really loved that book, so I definitely want to check out this one as well. Next, I have The Summer of Chasing Mermaids by Sarah Ochler. This is a book that I read last year and really loved, but I only had an arc of it. I never got a finished copy, and it was on Book Outlet, and I loved it, so I picked it up. It's inspired by The Little Mermaid. Then I have Saint Anything by Sarah Dessen. I was like just waiting for this one to show up on Book Outlet. Everyone seemed to really enjoy it, so I'm looking forward to checking this one out. I've actually never read any of Sarah Dessen's books, but this might be my first. Then I have 20th Century Ghosts by Joe Hill, and this is just a collection of really scary short stories. Joe Hill, for those who don't know, wrote the Lock and Key series, which is one of my favorite graphic novel series, but also his dad is Stephen King, so he's kind of got the whole horror thing down. And my friend Cassie from the Spines with Lines book club also recommended this book to me, so I trust her and I got it. And my last book from Book Outlet is The Merciless by Daniel Vega. I've actually heard not so great things about this book, but I love the pink cover. I've always been intrigued by it, and since it was on Book Outlet, I figured that if I didn't pick it up now, I probably never would pick it up, so I am curious enough that I might read it at some point, and that's why I decided to just grab it, because it was really cheap. And then the last two things that I have to show you were gifts from Cassie and Melissa. So Melissa gave me Art Therapy. It's a Frozen coloring book, which I'm really excited about because I really loved Frozen, and Melissa and I actually saw Frozen together on opening night the day before Thanksgiving when it came out, because we were both really excited about it and we loved it, so I'm really excited to color this one. And then Cassie got me this super awesome tote that has a quote on it from the Chaos Walking trilogy by Patrick Ness. It says, "We are the choices we make," and it looks like the cover of the first book, The Knife of Never Letting Go. So I'm really excited about this too, and I can't wait to use it. Thank you, Cassie. So that's my super big January book haul, and I hope that you enjoyed it, and I won't keep you any longer. Tell me some of the things that you got this month, and if you've read anything in this enormous pile, let me know what I should move to the top of my TBR. So thank you, and I will see you guys soon with a new video. Bye!